Hello and welcome back. I'm Alex and I do arty things. If you can believe that. Now by the time I'm filming this video and by the time you see this video, it will have been 1 year since I started my YouTube channel. My first YouTube video was painting the wall you see behind me. I'm still far from being an expert, clearly, but ultimately I'm extremely proud of everything that I've produced. Because it's been a year since I started YouTube, I think I deserve a refresh to clean my room, get some things organized, get my last video cleaned up, and then to get a little bit of sketching in. So I just plan to dive right in. As you can see, my room was a bit of a wreck. All my supplies were scattered across the table. I had materials for an upcoming video begging to be stored away. My drawers were a mess. Supplies had cascaded from the originally neat stacks. And sometimes when I'm making videos, my brother-in-law will throw ball pit balls at me. There's just a bunch of those lying around the room. The real disaster zone, the part that truly called for a deep clean, was the non-film side. Oh boy, that was quickly turning into a real headache. I started by banishing part of the ever-growing collection of ball pit balls into the common area. I then moved to take on the left corner of the room next to my art desk. This area contained a lot of scrap paper and cardboard from previous projects. I sorted those out carefully, picking which pieces I could reuse and which pieces were just hopeful clutter. I finished by picking up the creepy Crayola crayon sharpener and tossing it for some reason. He's just so green, okay? Smiling at me like that, ugh. Next up was tackling the bigger issue, the back of the room. I wasn't sure where to go with it all, so I just started with the smallest things like packaging and trash. During this time, my sister came in and stole her hand backpack. The audacity! I put all my camera equipment away so it wouldn't be harmed during the process. Thanks to the complete lack of storage in this room, a mess of cords got wrapped up and tossed into a pile. Without proper organization, everything just kind of ends up in vaguely related piles. Who's in charge of storage and organizing this place? Gee, I wonder. I found a ball pit ball hidden under the boxes my lighting equipment came in. I threw it across the room, only for it to roll right back next to me. Wish I had caught more of that on camera. It's just out of view. I then worked on my desk, placing my Ohuhu markers back in their bag and packing up a few of my future projects. I've had this test swatch sheet forever now, and it's been nagging at the back of my mind. Tossing it felt like a victory, and I was so happy I did this silly little dance, only to be interrupted by discovering a random stray piece of fluff stuck to my arm. I decided to take down the cardboard with my soundproof panels that cover the window to this room. The room instantly felt more open and less stuffy and breathable. The cons are that more noise gets through, and I'm not fully sure how this will affect lighting going forward. The sound panels were kept, but the box was tossed. I reset my trash can and wrangled the last of those annoying cords. With a third of the work done, it was time to tackle the top of the sump pump box. This corner is essentially a clutter magnet for extra screws, tangled cords, tape, scissors, pretty much anything small and easily misplaced. I also use it as a place for the signed Owl City poster I don't know where to hang up. This area hasn't been touched since moving into the room. And while sorting through it, a couple of unwelcome discoveries were made, like a few dead bugs. Nasty. I reclaimed the stolen hand backpack and swiftly dealt with the pests. Most of the process involved shifting things around and taking a mental note of the extra tools. I then removed my poster and threw the long-forgotten paint towel into the wash. I sprayed and wiped the area down and vacuumed all the corners. I wiped down my poster as a nice little finishing touch. In the end, all the cables and extras still ended up in a pile, but at least this time it was a cleaner, slightly more organized mess. A deep clean followed by the floor on the front corner of the sump pump. Spraying, wiping, and vacuuming every last inch. Despite having cleaned this area a few times before, it somehow always manages to get gross again. It's really annoying. I tossed some dried out acrylic paints and downsized my collection of mostly used card decks from a previous project. I neatly stacked my canvases from largest to smallest on top of the sump pump, along with the remaining paint and art supplies. Finally, it was time to focus on my art desk. I began with the top of my desk, but soon realized it made more sense to begin with the 2 drawers. The top drawer is living between being filled with my future video ideas and the art supplies I use on the regular. I decided to simplify it to just the future video ideas. I grouped as many as possible, leaving the drawer neat and ready for those future projects. The bottom drawer was a slight disaster, and honestly, it's probably going to stay that way to some extent. There's no proper storage system for everything, glitter covers the bottom, and chaos reigns. I did what I could to make it more manageable, neatly placed my sketchbooks on the space above the drawers, and then moved on. Speaking of moving on, I then began to tackle the top of my desk. Once again, I took a pause to figure out the best way to go about it. The Ohuhu markers were the first to move, landing on the floor beside some marker organizers I was gifted for Christmas. My little paper notes to self had started stacking up, so I sorted through them, folding and arranging the keepers while weeding out the useless ones. I also took a moment and jotted down a few ideas of what I would need for future videos. My detailing and fine liner pens had been scattered across the desk for ages, so I finally gathered them all into one spot. I knew my star would need to be relocated, so I peeled off the needed eraser, acting as makeshift blue tack. And I'll be honest, it was nice to have my full needed eraser back. Somehow, that flimsy dollar store knife set, mentioned in my previous video, is still hanging around. That is another day Alex's problem. I relocated all of my vintage crayons from the Minecraft Creeper pencil pouch to their original tin, alongside the beloved dandelion crayon. The energy I had was starting to fade, and when that happens, I end up doing random little tasks that don't really need to be done, like organizing masking tape by rainbow order. At this point, the camera's recording limit had slipped my mind, and it stopped filming. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to buy better SD cards to fix this issue. I finished clearing off the rest of my desk, though most of it was already done. Any artist that owns a white desk knows that one of the downside is that the paint and marker smudges show up really well. I wiped the desk down, mostly targeting the dust, getting off what color was willing to budge. Next up, the Ohuhu marker organizers. I'd been itching to open and arrange these beauties since Christmas. It took all the little gremlin strength I had to resist for 3 whole months. Oh, it was torture. But that made this moment totally worth it. I sliced open the box with no wobbling or bending thanks to this not dollar store X-Acto knife. So this is the standard Ohuhu bamboo marker organizer, say that 5 times as fast. It holds up to 126 markers, of which I have 2. At first, I arranged the colors in rainbow order, starting at the top of the first organizer and working horizontally across. It didn't look bad. I just didn't think it would be the easiest to use. So, I opted to switch things up and organize the colors vertically instead. That worked out much better, and as an added bonus, it looks a whole lot nicer too. I'm super duper pleased with these organizers. They fit my multiple sets of Ohuhu markers with enough room for a few Posca paint pens. Now my markers are aesthetically pleasing as them kids say online on the TikTok. And bada bing, bada boom, here are a few pictures of the finished room. It feels amazing to have a clean, visually relaxing workspace to step into when it's time to work on another video. Now the real challenge begins, actually keeping it this way. To wrap up the video, I wanted to do something artsy. No plan, just grab my sketchbook, a pencil, and my freshly organized markers. Okay, so perfectionism has always been a hurdle for me, making me hyper aware of my mistakes and, at times, holding me back from chasing what I love. But over the course of a year, what changed? Why did I keep posting videos even though I was making lots of mistakes? I thought back on all the things that kept me moving forward this past year. Growing up, there was a phase where my siblings and I watched the Magic School Bus all the time. And I've always loved Miss Frizzle's iconic line, "Take chances, make mistakes, and get messy." While working on my YouTube videos, it's a phrase I've mumbled to myself more than once. Letting go of perfection and embracing my mistakes has been freeing. Learning to work hard, take pride in what I create, and enjoy the process. Sure, my audio has been questionable at times. And not every shot has been great. But what truly matters is that I'm having fun, putting in the effort, and constantly improving. Mistakes happen, but they're just stepping stones. Every small step adds up. And that's why I decided to make a piece of art dedicated to the character that helped me understand that mistakes are okay. Even using my new camera for this video has been a huge learning curve, but I can already see progress. And I'll keep pushing forward, learning, and growing from each experience. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or comments, I'd love to hear them. See you next time.